Hi, it's me, Mari, and today you learn how to play Medici. Setup. Place the corresponding commodity counter face up on the board. This represents each of the 5 commodities: cloth, spice, grain, dye, and fur. Stack the 2 blue day counters on top of the blue symbol in the center of the board. This represents how many turns are left. Each player chooses a trader. Place their ship mat around the board and put the boat on it. In a 2-player game, take the smaller ship mat and place beside it to extend the track. Put the corresponding tokens in each of the commodities track. Place the last token in the money track according to the number of players on screen. At any point, if a player money exceeds 99 florins, use the boat to represent that the player has over 100 florins. Shuffle the commodity cards. Make a deck with the quantity of cards as follows. For example, in a 4-player game, we'll be using 24 cards in a round and setting aside 12 cards. Place the 8 cards next to the board. Choose a random player to give the first player card and start the round. How to play? On your turn, draw from the commodity deck and place the cards face up for the table to see. You can draw 1, 2, or 3 cards to form a lot to be auctioned. Players will use their florins to start bidding on the lot, starting with the player to the left of the one that selected the lot. Players have one opportunity to bid, and a subsequent bid must always be higher than the previous. Players can also pass. The player who selected the lot will always be the last player to bid or pass. The player with the highest bid will load the lot in its entirety on their ship and have their florins reduced accordingly. Play proceeds clockwise, passing the first player card to the left. Auction rules. When a lot is bought, it's loaded in its entirety onto the player's ship mat. You cannot split, trade, discard, nor return cards. Therefore, you cannot bid on a lot that would cause your ship to be overloaded. But on your turn, you can prepare a lot with more cards than your ship can hold. You just won't be able to bid on it. When your ship is full, you are out of the game for the rest of the round and cannot bid or select lots. The minimum bid value is 1. If all player passes on a lot, these cards are discarded, and the first player card passes to the next player. Round end. Once all but one player has their ships loaded, the round ends. The last player then fills their ship taking cards from the commodity deck as they come, costing 0 florins. The round can also end when the commodity deck runs out. If there aren't enough cards, the remaining load of the ship will be empty. Scoring. At the end of each day, players earn money for the goods they have purchased according to this table. First, sum the value of the commodities on each ship. The player with the most valuable cargo receives the highest payment, followed by the next players in line until the last player, which doesn't receive any money. If there is a draw, the corresponding payment for displacements are added together and divided amongst the player and rounded down if needed. Next, count the number of purchases each player has made in the 5 commodities by moving the colored counters up on every track, regardless of the number on the cards. The gold 10 card isn't counted. After every player has moved their counters, the player who is in the highest position on each commodity track is awarded 10 florins. The player in the second highest position on each track is awarded 5 florins, and the other players get nothing. In case of a tie, the awards are added together and divided amongst the player and rounded down if needed. In a 2-player game, the player in the second position doesn't receive any points. Flip the commodity counter as you score to help keep track of the awards given. For example, in this 3-player game, the first player has 1 fur and the second and third player has 0 fur. The first player gets 10 florins and the second and third player gets 2 florins each, which corresponds to 5 florins total divided by 2 and rounded down. Bonuses. A player who has reached the top 3 levels of commodity track receives a bonus of 20, 10 or 5 florins. If there is a tie, this bonus is not divided and each player receives the full amount. For example, the red trader gets 20 florins, the yellow and green trader gets 10 florins each, and the blue and black trader gets 5 florins each. Once all 5 commodities have been scored and the players receive their payments, awards and bonuses, remove the top day counter to represent that the next round begins. Flip back the commodity counters. Keep the current player counters. Take the commodity cards, shuffle all 36 cards, and redo the deck. according to the number of players. Give the first player card to the player with the least amount of florins. In case of a draw, pick one of these players at random. Game end. At the end of the third round, the player with the most florins wins. In case of a draw, players share the victory as the most successful merchants of the Mediterranean Sea. And this is how we play Medici. If you like this tutorial, please like the video and subscribe to Tabletop Duo. See you next time!